We've read reports that you intend to, go back to the skies by the end of this month.
You probably know something that I don't know, but
so that's not you.
I can tell you that following the lifting of the suspension of our AOC, we are already in the process of preparing to resume our operations, but it will take a while, maybe in a couple of weeks. Because we want to ensure that everything is in place. We're working in conjunction with the NCAA to ensure that everything is in place in terms of equipment, in terms of staff training, just to ensure that we have a seamless service and we continue to deliver the same world-class service that Dana is repeating.
When are you going back to the skies?
I can't say, because we have to do a series of activities in preparation for resumption of operations, but I can tell you that it would happen in a couple of weeks.
Let me get this across. Nigeria Airways flight 2120 was a Douglas DC 861 owned by Canadian airline Nation Air, and it was chartered by Nigeria Airways to transport Nigerian pilgrims to and from Mecca. On the 11th of July 1991, the aircraft caught fire and crashed shortly after takeoff from King Abdulaziz International Airport, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, ended up killing 261 board, including 14 Canadian crew. Shortly after this, Nation Air issued a statement saying the cause of the crash was because of a debris on the runway. Thereafter, after the investigation came forward, it was found out that it was not a major cause, it was contributory. So that means you're not aware of this case. That's why you say nowhere in the world will any airline issue a statement before the AIB report. This is a clear case. You can Google it. It's online. It's everywhere.
No, see, it is clear, Chamberlain, that according to the AIB report, what has happened is a case of dual engine failure. We're not in dispute of this, but what is the cause of the dual engine failure? The airline is not in a position to say.
Issuing a preliminary statement of the possible cause. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just giving you an example.
You and I would only make things worse if we speculate on the cause.
You know why Chamberlain is saying this? Because we have access to that particular preliminary report, and if you remember, then the report says as at 3:15. Which is just 17 minutes after takeoff, both pilots were already discussing about abnormal problems. And it means that one engine or the throttle or the power stuff indicator wasn't too fine. So 70 minutes after takeoff, what should they have done? They should have gone back to Abuja and dropped the plane off. But they continued. That's from the same preliminary report. That is why people are amazed, and they still continued flying.
Did the report say they should have gone back? Did you read that from the report?
It's not about the report said they should have gone
from the report. You see, this is the
we're
error.
Talking about the report. The report says, I understand it. No, we're not misleading them, but the report says, the preliminary report says at 3:15 p.m., which is just 17 minutes after takeoff, that both pilots were already having some kind of formal or informal discussing about abnormal problems with one engine, the engine throttle, and engine power indicator. So people have been asking, shouldn't they have returned to Abuja?
It's a question that I would ask myself. Okay, it's a natural question that you would ask, but we cannot say what the exact cause of the accident is. Yes, we know that it is. We know that it is as a result of. We know it is as a result of dual engine failure. But it's a technical thing to determine what the cause of the dual engine failure is.
We'll have to hold on with the headlines and take those calls if we can do that. Shawa, just hold on a bit, because we've got let me see, Mr. Captain Araba. He's the immediate past rector of Aviation College, Zaria. He's on the line. Morning, Captain, and thank you for joining us. What can you tell us about this situation on our hands now?
Good morning, Timberlake. My name is Captain Araba. I've been cleverly and consistently listening to the You see, with due respect to the young man from Ghana, and what he has said concerning the norm is completely very disturbing. Disturbing in the sense that if an accident happens, now an airline. If that airline is operating the same aeroplane, for the system to be sure that that problem is not common with all the airplanes. So the best thing to do is to put all the airplanes on ground, and which the government did. And nobody can fault that until they ascertain the cause of that accident. But this Ghana issue is so difficult in the sense that, as we speak now, the cause of that accident is still to be determined. And immediately after the accident, I had an interview, and I said during the interview that I hope and I pray at the end of the day, we are not going to be told that the flight data recorder got bumped. What we need to consider now is, whatever we've been hearing concerning that accident, everything should be brought into light, in the sense that when the airplane departed Abuja, we had problems, or rather the crew, they had problems inside the cockpit that they were discussing. Rather than going back to Abuja, they decided to continue the flight to Lagos to destination. What exactly were they trying to achieve by coming to Lagos? Nobody is asking that question. The rumor had it that the crew, they were going on the normal rotation. Rotation meaning they're going to drop the airplane in Lagos and maybe they go for another 2 weeks. So that is exactly what I'm saying now. And secondly, the government should ascertain whether the other airplane now grounded, whether they comply with all the ADs concerning the airplane, which is the airworthiness directive. And for the young man saying what the government did was out of normal is completely very misleading. And that is my submission.
So let's quickly get you correctly here. You're saying that it is the norm to ground all types of aircraft in that particular fleet. I mean, the particular brand that had the accident. Is that what you're saying, sir?
Exactly, that is the norm. And secondly, another thing we need to consider is, if an accident of that magnitude should happen, the first thing everybody will ask is the age of that aeroplane. If you see this Ghana aeroplane we're talking about, they are fairly old. They are more than 20 years old. And the question that will come to play is, were they able to comply with all the ADs concerning that aeroplane now? And putting all the other airplanes on ground, it was just normal. And the AD is just the airworthiness directive, whether it's been complied with. But if a new airplane, like he did mention, concerning the aircraft, a very new airplane should have that problem, then the problem will not be the AD now, right? And the problem will now focus on the flight data recorder. Because without the flight data recorder, if an accident should happen, everybody will be at a complete loss. Nobody can determine exactly what happened and exactly what happened to this Ghana. Why was the flight data recorder got bumped? Were they able to comply with the AG concerning the flight data recorder on that aeroplane? These are the questions people should be asking.
Okay. You want to comment on that?
Yes, I agree completely with what Captain Araba has said, that whenever an accident happens, what the authorities need to do is to ensure that the other aircrafts in the fleet are airworthy, which is what I said. What is wrong is to suspend the operating license of the airline. And this is what the result of the audit that has been carried out by the technical and administrative review panel set up by the Ministry of Aviation has achieved, to ascertain that the aircrafts in the fleet of the airline are airworthy.
But correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
All the aircraft in your fleet is the same with this one that crashed, isn't
yes,
it?
they are all MD-83 aircrafts. And what he said is the right thing, which is what I said. After an accident, the government or the authorities ensure that the other aircrafts in the fleet are airworthy. Yeah, and then you start to fly.
No,
you
what
don't
you
suspend.
Said was that you equated that with
yes.
a recall. You said that, to ground them or something like that would be to recall them, and that this will be recalled by the companies, and it also means that it has to be recalled, all over the world.
I want to give an example. There is a particular aircraft type where there were recurring incidents of the engine actually flying out of the airplane before a crash. Now, what the manufacturers of that aircraft did, Nigeria had the same kind of aircraft, DC-10s. They had to recall all of those aircrafts
but
anywhere.
Recalling and grounding are two different things.
Yes, they're two different things. Recalling and grounding are two different. Grounding is removing the operating license off the airline. Recalling is the manufacturers taking all that particular type of aircraft because there is a known defect with that particular kind of aircraft.
Since we don't know what was the major cause of this accident, and I mean, all your fleets are the same with this one, and
but there has been an audit by the Ministry of Aviation.
That notwithstanding, if the AIB report comes up, it will bring up a whole new perspective. So
yes,
perhaps
if it does, then the government would act in accordance with whatever submissions that investigation brings.
Grounding all the aircraft in the fleet.
Yes, when you have the report, you can do that.
All right. Okay, we'll still have Mr. Rabah on the line. You want to make a comment before we go?
Yeah, you see, like I said, with due respect to the young man, he's just telling us what is being expected from Ghana to be telling the people. But that is where I feel the professionals should not come in and tell Ghana that, look, what government did with Ghana, for them to say completely out of Burma is not right. And that is unfair on the system. Because, like you rightly said, Timberlane, Ghana flies the same type of aeroplane. Now, what is the guarantee that the other 2 airplanes or 3 airplanes in that same category, if they start flying, they are not going to have the same problem? What is the guarantee?
Okay.